UFC Paris. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event, Ciryl Gane versus Tuivasa. Overall, pretty solid UFC Paris card. We're going to talk about each of the matchups. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you're new. Subscribe to the channel. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. Let's jump into fight one. Pretty good prospect matchup here between William Gomis and Jarno Errens. I have to go the William Gomis side. I feel like he's the better technical striker. I do think he's going to be faster and more explosive than Errens, but big power in the Errens' hands. If he's able to land hooks, if he gets close, I could see him still doing damage. Solid ground game, 5 wins by submission for Errens, but I do think William Gomis is a clear wrestling edge and a physical strength and athleticism advantage. Those should carry him through here. I see him getting his hand raised. I see him actually getting a stoppage win. I'm leaning knockout, kind of feeling second round. I expect both these two to bring it. Good striking early. Might see a bit of control against the cage and even takedowns from Gomis. If he does get on top, he has very good ground and pound. I like him to win this fight. I think he beats Jarno Errens. Good matchup of prospects. Interesting note is Gomis is the number 2, I believe, fighter in Western Europe, and Errens has a win just recently over Max Koga, who was listed number 1. Granted, the regional stuff, the national level doesn't matter anymore. It's UFC level. But interesting note, good competition level for both guys. Solid prospects, really. And I'm going Gomis for the win by knockout. As far as the odds, minus 200 for Gomis, Errens plus 183. I like the favorite, Gomis, for the knockout win. Next fight of the night, Stephanie Egger versus Ailin Perez. Short notice fight. Egger accepts. She's coming off a quick submission loss where she took no damage, and now she takes on Perez, who went viral really with that twerking clip. If you haven't seen it, you'll see it if you look up some of her footage. I gotta pick Egger, but I don't like the pick. There's no value if you're betting her. You're better off going dog. We know what Egger's going to do. She's got okay stand-up. She wants to get in close. She wants to clinch up, and she wants to toss you, get you to the ground, and work the arms. Good armbar game from Egger. Granted, last one she lost by armbar. Perez does have a decent wrestling base. I just don't necessarily know the level right now. I have to go with Egger here, but it's not a bet that I like. But I do think the judo could be a big difference maker. Perez, I will find out her wrestling level really here. If she's able to control Egger on the floor, I'm impressed with her as a prospect. Interesting too, it's in the featherweight division. Just a weird fight. Super wide lines. Egger coming off a recent loss, bouncing back, taking on a prospect in Perez, who was supposed to fight a totally different style fighter in Zara Farron. We have to ride Egger for the win. I'm going the higher level experience and the proven judo, but lots of ifs, no value bet. Next fight of the night, Khalid Taha versus Cristian Quiñonez. I'm going to go Khalid Taha cautiously. Taha's got decent striking, but Morozov was able to touch him up a bit and take him down. Granted, I do consider him a decent wrestler. I do think his stand-up is pretty good. He's got solid punches closing distance with the straights, chops down well at the low kicks. Granted, a little bit hittable in range, as is Quiñonez, though. Quiñonez is a guy that likes to brawl. He'll get inside and mix it up. Both guys can definitely be touched. I think Taha is a little bit more technically proficient, but he's fighting Quiñonez, who's going to be extremely game. I think Taha's going to look to wrestle a bit here, take Quiñonez down, slow the pace, and then work the stand-up a bit with a little bit of the rhythm being thrown off, because Quiñonez, if he gets into his flow, could definitely touch up Taha. I like this as a good fight. I'm going to lean Taha on the cards. Looking at the odds, Taha sitting at minus 130, Quiñonez plus 125, but near even odds. Pretty close as far as this matchup goes. And you got to respect the ability on both sides here. Good fight. Next fight of the night, Benoit Saint-Denis and Gabriel Miranda. I'm going to be picking Benoit Saint-Denis, But Gabriel Miranda can grapple, and that's what Benoit Saint-Denis' strong suit is. Now, I think Miranda does have a tricky jiu-jitsu game. I would lean the wrestling towards Benoit Saint-Denis. I'd also lean the physical strength and overall control from the top position towards Benoit Saint-Denis. But slickness on the back, Miranda's dangerous. He does have a decent top game himself, very submission-heavy attack. I see them close on the ground, so normally, right, when you get really good grapplers and if they cancel each other out, you turn it into a sloppy kickboxing match. In this one here, I don't know how Miranda's takedown defense is going to hold up against Benoit Saint-Denis for certain, but I'll tell you this, if you put them in a striking match, Benoit Saint-Denis is going to win the fight. I see him as the more dangerous wrestler, the better fighter overall, I would say. Stand-up game, difference maker. Miranda, okay striking style, bit square. I think big straight shots can hit him down the line. I think a guy with the toughness of Saint-Denis will be extremely hard for somebody like Miranda to beat. I don't see Saint-Denis being put on his back and submitted here. I'm going with Benoit to win the fight. I'm going to lean it by KO, TKO, and I expect a fair amount of stand-up between these two grapplers. We'll find out. Very much dependent on the takedown defense on the side of Gabriel Miranda. Plus 235, Miranda. Saint-Denis minus 213 best value. I like Benoit for the win. I say he gets it done here. And I do think toughness far favors Benoit. He's going to be able to take a ton of damage. Even if Miranda lands some big shots, Saint-Denis proven durable. I mean, that fight that he lost in his UFC debut against Zaleski, the man almost got killed out there, but he took a beating. He's like the France version of Navy SEAL. We're also in Paris. This is a good matchup for him, and I think he wins impressively here. Saint-Denis. Next fight of the night. Nasruddin Imavov versus Joaquin Buckley. About to shake some things up because I think Joaquin Buckley is going to sleep Imavov. I looked at Imavov's fight against Phil Hawes, right? Athletic and explosive guy. Some of the stand-up exchanges, you see Hawes getting through, and now you compare Buckley, somebody that I think packs a pretty serious punch, more so known for the striking. Imavov might be Dagestani by ethnicity, but he's not known for the wrestling here. He's a kickboxer. He fights well from distance. Granted, can mix in the wrestling. Did so against Shabazian. Against Buckley, I don't think he'll have that same success. Buckley's a pretty short dude for the middleweight division. He's not like super short, but he's 5'10". And Imavov's 6'3". Big disparity in the height. I think it'd be hard for Imavov to really start shooting low at those legs. It would be a lot more like clinch-style takedowns. But that means you're going to have to get really close to Joaquin Buckley, who throws power shots. From distance, Imavov can kickbox, but Buckley's explosive and he has long arms. I think he can touch that Imavov chin and get the KO win. I'm going to ride with Joaquin Buckley for the win, and he's actually a pretty good-size underdog here. Buckley is plus 225, Imavov at minus 250. I think Joaquin Buckley's going to get his hand raised by knockout in a very difficult fight. Don't get me wrong. If Imavov is absolutely on his game, he has to, I think, pitch a shutout and win it by decision. Buckley, I do believe, can get the knockout here, and I think he finds that chin and cracks Imavov, puts him down. I'm expecting hook flurries as he closes that distance. I like Joaquin Buckley for the win. Next fight of the night. Faraz Ziam versus Michal Figlak. Very tricky one because you look at Figlak as a prospect, he's good. Ziam, what he lacks for me, which is why I'm picking Figlak, I think the potential difference is a power edge maybe towards Figlak. He'll be durable. Ziam, very precise and technical with his strikes. Controls distance well, but Figlak is pressing forward constantly, looking to close that distance. He's a physically strong guy, got a pretty decent grappling game. I think Ziam needs to stick and move for majority of the fight. Figlak's going to be chasing him down. Bull Matador. I think Figlak could get a hold of Ziam against the cage. I do think Figlak will have success with boxing in the close range. If he allows Faraz Ziam to set up his shots and fight from the kickboxing distance, I definitely can see Ziam winning the fight. So he's not a bad underdog here. But I think Figlak can put this one against the cage, can even just backing Ziam up and putting him against the cage and then getting combinations off. That to me is a big key to victory for Figlak. I'll ride with Figlak. I'll say he'll win the fight, but Ziam has a chance here. It's not a one-sided beating by any means. Figlak minus 181 best value. Ziam plus 170. I think Ziam has got a kickbox like A1, and I think Figlak is not going to allow it to happen. He'll make the fight dirty. The more dirty and nasty this fight is, the more it favors Figlak against the more technical kickboxer in Ziam. We're going Figlak for the win. Next fight is our featured bout of the night. Dustin Stoltzfus versus Abas Magomedov. If you don't know Abas Magomedov, he was a finalist in PFL 2018. He was brutally knocked out in 33 seconds by Lewis Taylor, who was almost 40 at the time and went off to retire with that $1 million. So one of the most, I would say, underrated fighter stories on the come up. Lewis Taylor, he gets forgotten about, but I got to give the guy some respect. Now, granted, totally different matchup. Abas is known as a well-rounded fighter. He has a quality kickboxing game. Very, I don't want to say Dutch kickboxing style. I know he's trained in Germany, but more so of that influence on his kickboxing. Decent movement side to side. Hard guy to hit. Stoltzfus is stiff. Abas is going to win the fight. How does he get it done? Well, Abas also has the wrestling advantage. I think he's going to be a problem from the top position. Stoltzfus beat Dwight Grant in the last one, but I wasn't super impressed with it. Abas should win this fight. I want to say rather convincingly. You look at recent 2 wins. He gets a submission. Previous to that, Sabito Sai win, that was years ago now. But even this one was three years ago. It's a debuting guy. Like, it's not like he's fighting all the time. It's been 1 year and 8 months since he last fought. For that reason, I got to say, I'm going to go Abas to win a decision. I don't know. He might be able to catch a limb and tap Stoltzfus. We've seen Stoltzfus sub before. The Mearshart fight, Vieira. But it's not like he's an easy guy to tap out. If Abas gets good position, he can win by sub. So I'm kind of torn on method. I'm going to go sub or decision on this one. Magomedov for the win. And I do think if he's able to consistently land takedowns, get in dominant position, don't be surprised if he pulls off the sub. Abas is minus 250. It's a decent line for the OV. Stoltzfus sitting at plus 222. I think Abas very confidently gets the win and a welcome to the UFC against a game competitor in Stoltzfus. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. It is Charles Jourdain and Nathaniel Wood. I'm going to be picking Charles Jourdain. He looked really good against Shane Burgos. I thought he should have got the win in that fight. He fights Nathaniel Wood, who's coming off a W over Charles Rosa. I think Jourdain has the advantage in the overall power. I think he's a little bit more explosive than Wood, though Wood is fast. I think this is a guy that can match Jourdain in the speed department. I see it as a pretty competitive kickboxing fight. I think Jourdain could do more damage. If somebody gets stunned in this fight, I really lean it towards the Wood side as opposed to Charles Jourdain. I really feel like he's a quality prospect. I'm going to pick Charles Jourdain to win a decision, though. I do think it's a pretty competitive fight. You can't cut out Nathaniel Wood. I mean, the kid comes with a good style. He's well-rounded in the kickboxing, very good hooks. He closes distance and rips the body well, too. But I like Jourdain's overall movement. I like the way he closes distance. I like his kicking skills. I like his punch combinations inside, the improving ground game. I like Charles Jourdain to win by decision against Nathaniel Wood here. Wood is sitting at plus 122. Jourdain at minus 135. I'll ride with Charles Jourdain on the scorecards with some confidence, though. Quality confidence here. Next fight, Nasrat Haqparast and John Makdessi. I'm picking Nasrat Haqparast, but it's almost like I feel like I have to pick him. He shouldn't lose to a 37-year-old Makdessi, but let's be real. Nasrat isn't a super dangerous guy striking. He's got a decent style from distance. He holds that lead hand out fairly well. He closes distance decently. He's a southpaw, solid jab, but not super good at getting inside against guys who are a lot longer and quicker, like a Bobby Green, like a Dan Hooker. Granted, Dan Hooker was able to, out-grapple him in that fight. But still, John Makdessi, shorter guy. Range edge towards Haqparast, big advantage to me. He'll have a boxing edge. Makdessi is dangerous in close range with power. He rips big punches. Granted, he hasn't fought since the split over Ignacio Bahamondes nearly a year and a half ago. He's 37. Nasrat's 27. I got to expect Haqparast to get the win. I'm still riding with Nasrat. I believe he can get it done. I feel like there's a lot of faith on the Nasrat Haqparast side constantly, but unfortunately, he's not living up to it just yet, but still a lot of time. 13-5, 27. I'm going with him to win. Makdessi, tricky southpaw brawler who's dangerous, might throw a spinning kick in here, but I think Nasrat Haqparast should win the fight by a technical unanimous decision. As far as the lines, Haqparast -204, Makdessi +196. We're riding Haqparast for the win. Next matchup, Alessio Di Chirico versus Roman Kopylov. Listen, I love the Italians. I try to root for them. But I just feel like I can't pick against Kopylov here. I think Roman Kopylov can beat Di Chirico. He's kind of like gets a little too wild with the brawling style, sometimes throwing the overhands. I think he's there to be hit. Kopylov a little more technical and tight in his stance. Not necessarily an easy fight for either, and that's why the lines are pretty much even. What are they sitting at here? -104, Di Chirico, -103, Kopylov. It's an even line. It's an even fight. I really think it's super competitive. I think Kopylov can slightly outstrike him, but Di Chirico's going to constantly be coming in to bang. Maybe watch for that high kick of Kopylov. And then granted, Di Chirico has a highlight reel knockout of Buckley with that high kick. That's his only win in recent years. That was incredible too. And then he gets slept by a high kick by Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Tricky fight. Both guys bringing it. I see it as super competitive. I expect the Italians to be in attendance for Di Chirico. But Kopylov, I think, could steal it on the cards. But it's super close that you might as well flip a coin on this matchup. I think it's an extremely difficult one to call. But I am going to call Kopylov to win the fight by a decision. Now, let's get to the co-main event. Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori. I'm going to be picking Robert Whittaker here. Unfortunately, I'm calling an Italian shutout against my own people. Might come after me. But granted, Robert Whittaker, I think, is more well-rounded than Vettori. As far as how he has his stand-up game figured out, Robert Whittaker is a lot more dangerous. He has more tools standing up. Vettori brings pressure. He's kind of like a bullying style, and he doesn't make you look good when you fight him. He's going to do a lot of pressure to get inside of the cage, or excuse me, inside of the clinch against the cage. I could see him controlling Whittaker a bit there, but Robert Whittaker is good at getting out of those positions. He has very good strikes overall. I mean, you got dangerous high kicks, punches, solid chin. Robert Whittaker takes a good shot. Granted, he's been flash knocked down and knocked out by Adesanya, but Whittaker can take a punch. He's been put down, but he can take a shot. Vettori doesn't bring the power, though, to necessarily even threaten Whittaker in that way. To me, Vettori needs a grappling-heavy fight to win. I don't see him outstriking Whittaker. I see it as being super competitive for a fair amount of it. I see a lot of cage pressure by Vettori with Whittaker trying to circle away. I think Whittaker will get away and land the better strikes. Maybe even Whittaker looking to mix in some takedowns. If it does go to the floor, I want to see how I feel like Whittaker has a better jiu-jitsu, but Vettori is just heavy on top. Vettori is just that pressure style. He doesn't do anything great, but he's super tough, and he's going to keep walking you down. I'm going Whittaker to win it on the cards. It's only 3 rounds. It's concerning. I would love to see this fight as 5 rounds. 3 rounds, it feels like too short in my opinion. -224, Whittaker, Vettori +196. The winner is truly the number 2, I'd say, light heavyweight on the planet with this one. Or excuse me, middleweight on the planet with this one here, because both guys, 2 losses to Israel Adesanya. Main event of the evening, Ciryl Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Ciryl Gane should win the fight. I'm picking him here to get it done by a TKO. I'm thinking 3rd round. I believe he's going to work good front kicks, kind of keep Tai Tuivasa at bay with straight shots. Listen, Francis Ngannou had a really hard time striking with Gane. I see Tai Tuivasa having a harder time striking with Gane. I think he's going to get picked apart on the feet. Yes, he brings knockout power, but I don't see him finding that chin. I think that Ciryl Gane can really win this fight everywhere. I don't see Tai Tuivasa mixing in wrestling and, developing some Brock Lesnar level ground and pound and takedowns. I find it hard to see outside of like Tai trying to bang hooks close and distance. And I mean, he's a brawler. He brings that style, but you're fighting a technician like Gane, undefeated in Muay Thai as well. I mean, you got to give Ciryl Gane his due respect standing up. He's an extremely dangerous style matchup. He's super quick, and I think he picks Tai apart before stopping a weathered Tai in the 3rd round. Could be a little earlier, but I'm really thinking he probably gets him out of there in the 3rd. Could go the full 5 too. I wouldn't be shocked if Tai's just kept that distance for the entire night and out kickbox and frustrated for 25 minutes. Gane's a big favorite, -515 as expected. Tuivasa +429. Ciryl Gane should win. Respect the power puncher Tai Tuivasa. He's gotten better. His low kicks are nasty. He's getting quicker. He seems more agile on his feet, but he's fighting a problem. Ciryl Gane for the win. TKO in the third, but could also be a unanimous decision. Overall, pretty solid UFC Paris card. The first ever in Paris for the UFC. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think of the picks. If you don't have anything to say, but you just enjoy the content, drop a W in the chat as always to support your boy. Keep it locked in. More content dropping all week long. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.